Hey, this is Manny Moonraker, and it's time to get this party started. It is episode number 105. Cue the music. Hey, this is episode 105. This is Manny Moonraker. And for all you people out there who are trolling, welcome to this episode of the UFO Buster Radio Report. And let me tell you, the trolls are unbelievable, but I thank you for listening because you make this all possible, to be honest. Because if it wasn't for trolls giving really ridiculous comments and reviews, there wouldn't be things to drive people to listen to the show anyway and then turn around and give a good comment. So, all you trolls, thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. And if you really like to troll, check me out on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. Because it's all in the description, so you might as well just click on it and troll me there too. Because I like it. And if you like it, actually, I love it. So this is UFO report number 105, and we're talking about a news article that came out recently. Now let me tell you this, and I'm going to just jump right into it, because I put this article inside of Google+, and for some reason the Anunnaki gods came out. No, I'm not kidding you. Someone claiming to be an Anunnaki god decided that he had problems with the article. According to this Anunnaki, there's no such things as UFOs or aliens. These are all like Thor and some other people. And by the way, this Anunnaki went by the name of Seth. And he took serious issue with the fact that this article was posted in Google+, and that we were all completely out of our fucking minds to even believe that aliens exist. Yes, I was trolled by an Anunnaki god. And while I'm very proud of that, and I feel like had a blessing bestowed on me, he unfortunately had to be blocked because the Anunnaki god then decided to, lay waste with his dragons, because he has dragons, on the rest of the people that were commenting on the post. And I can't have that. Listen, if you want to be a dick or an asshole, do it on your own. You can post these crazy comments if it gets you off in some way, Mr. Anunnaki God, but leave the other people alone. They didn't do anything to you. They read the article and they wanted to comment on it. And I know that if you were really an Anunnaki God, you wouldn't be using Google+ to try to reign over humanity. So anyway, that guy's gone, hopefully for good. He won't be harassing us. But the article that he had shit fit about is one that's titled 13 Reasons to Believe. In the title for this podcast, I added the words in alien UFOs because really, when you look at the 13 reasons they put in there, they're basically talking about ET. They're not talking about believing in unidentified flying objects, period. They're talking about the kind that come down and probe you, or heal you and bring you back from the dead. Whatever it is. Those are the ones that they're talking about. And there's 13 on here. We're only going to go over the first 5 because just the first 5 are fascinating. There are 8 more in the article. The article link is in the description. Check it out. Read it. I mean, they make a good point. There is tons of evidence that's constantly being thrown at us, but it's being thrown at us kind of sporadically from different angles, and a lot of people just don't put that together. Now, I want to be clear because a lot of people posted on this particular article and said it's all there. Why are people just rubber dicking themselves and not picking up on the information? And the reason is that if you don't believe, you're not going to go searching, do all these different avenues to kind of figure out and put 1 and 1 together to make 2. You kind of need it all in one place. This is why I posted this article in so many places, because it's all in one place. All you have to do is take it from 1 through 13. And I would hope that even the person that doesn't believe in this topic can put that together and say, at the very least, maybe something really is there. That was the hope in putting this article out. It wasn't about annoying the Anunnaki gods, especially the god named Seth that rides the dragons. But, it's like I say sometimes, you can't write some of this shit. And he was a good comedy relief for me today, and I enjoyed my banter with the Anunnaki god. So, hey, it is what it is. I don't give two shits about Mr. Anunnaki god, and hopefully he's gone for good. So number 1 on the list is basically what we've been talking about since December, and that is the fact that the government just admitted it's taking UFOs seriously. And they're talking about the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program that was started in part by Mr. Harry Reid, Bigelow, the Space Gigolo, and the rest of the crew at To the Stars Academy. And the fact is that is a sign that if your government is going to spend $22 million in trying to figure this out, the chances are you should probably read up on this and kind of keep an eye on it, because it's not the first time the government is involved in UFOs, and it most definitely is not the last. That is the number 1 reason. And of course, it should be fresh in your mind. There's just no way anybody forgot about this. Number 2, the man I just mentioned, Harry Reid. Harry Reid himself said, we're not taking UFOs seriously enough. This particular article has an interview that was conducted with Harry Reid. In the interview, he goes over how he initially got into this conversation of creating ATIP and how it started with a letter he received from Deuce Bigelow, the Space Gigolo. The letter was from an individual who had an interest not only in UFOs, but also in the Sherman Ranch, or Skinwalker Ranch, that Bigelow had, taken over with his team of scientists. So like I said, this article is pivotal in painting that picture for you, because the first 2 go hand in hand completely. Number 3 on the list, scientists are suddenly very, very, as the article says, bullish about the possibility of life out there in the middle of nowhere, where they continuously told us there is no way that that's possible. They make a great point in the article in saying that it was just over 30 years ago that we had not a single freaking clue that any planets existed outside of our little solar system. And now we are over 3,000 exoplanets in total. And apparently some of the new technology that we're going to be launching into space and orbit might even double and triple that amount. So there's just no way with all these planets that there isn't one little fucker out there that at least has some kind of a something running around on it. A rabbit with like 3 ears, or, a dog with like 10 testicles. I don't know what it is. But the truth is, with all these exoplanets being found, some of them in the so-called Goldilocks zone, there's just no way that there is nothing out there that would resemble life outside of what we have on planet Earth. Number 4, these same scientists, very, very fascinated by certain planets or certain heavenly bodies that exhibit certain things that have to do with life. Number 1 is Proxima b, which is the closest exoplanet that has ever been discovered. And right now, the idea is that this particular planet might be habitable. The other planet, the other system is a TRAPPIST system. Now, all of these we've heard in the last, 12 to 18 months. We've heard and read a lot of stories about this, even here on this podcast. TRAPPIST-1 system is part of a red dwarf star, and at the center it has an amazing 7 planets connected to the red dwarf star. Listen, that is a lot of planets in one spot. So, why not? Why not have this interest? Now, what's fascinating about the TRAPPIST system is that 3 of the planets reside in the Goldilocks zone. And the Goldilocks zone is basically all conditions similar to Earth in where we sit in our solar system and our distance from our planet, which could potentially give way to life. Another planet, LHS 1140b, and they're pretty much saying that it's fascinating because the planet is actually a super Earth, which has 7 times the mass of our planet and 40% larger. And they're looking to see what's the deal with that planet. Ross 128b is one of the biggest chances so far to find life on another planet, and to add a little bit of interest, they are picking up signals from the star that this planet is associated with. And we're talking about radio signals. So there you go. Planets, exoplanets to be exact, are proving to be another reason for number 4, for scientists to be involved in the discussion of alien life outside of our solar system. Other things that we know of, because even our boy Mr. Elon Musk is involved in this one, and that's Mars. It used to be that people would pretty much run around in circles, beat themselves with a pan on the head, and do all kind of things to deny that Mars had any kind of life or anything on it other than just a barren wasteland. We know today, as of 2015, that Mars has water. And even in 2015, up until they just came out and said it, they were still saying there is just no way that there could ever be any kind of water on Mars. Well, shit, there you go. Now what do you do? Well, I guess now you have to figure out whether there's any kind of life forms there. But we have to wait a few years for that because that wasn't in the budget. In our backyard also, including Mars, are what they call the ocean worlds of Europa, Enceladus, and Titan. These are the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, who pretty much show that they definitely have significant amount of liquid oceans underneath the surface that pretty much deserve a look-see. And if they're liquid, chances are they could have some form of life in it in some way. The last planet that they are apparently going bananas over is GJ1214b. They nicknamed this one the Water World. And the reason they say that is because there are signs of potential clouds, and that this planet, which is filled with water, may even have an atmosphere. So those are all part of number 4. It is a lot. Listen, there's a reason why these people are all excited. There's a reason why the government wants to talk about UFOs and research them and so forth. There's a reason why this is happening. Number 5, which is the last one from this article that we're going to go over, is that there is documentation. They're not talking about the ATIP documentation. They're not talking about Stephen Greer's book or his video. They're not talking about Stephen Bassett running around trying to, push people around in Congress or anything like that. Or even that one guy who was painting his alien abductor, and that he kept on having sex with him and having all these kids. Not even that. Not even Stan Romanek. We're not even talking about documentation from Stan Romanek. What this one is talking about is that in 2012, a photographer by the name of Stephen Hirsch, he went to a UFO convention and asked the attendees, who claimed that they had personal contact with an extraterrestrial, to draw and describe their experience. For those of you who've never seen anything like this, in this article, there are a few pictures of what these individuals drew. What they're referring about basically in the documentation part of this, is that people who have had experiencers who have actually documented what they've seen, what they felt, what they heard, what the entire situation was like when it came to their experience, whether it be an abduction, whether it be, coming across a spacecraft in close proximity, things like that. So we have documentation from regular blue-collar folks who had these experiences and basically shared it with this person. But people share this all the time. I mean, look at Newfork. A lot of the reports, people actually sketch things and put it in there as part of their report because they didn't have a camera, they didn't have a video, they couldn't take any pictures. So they'll sketch it out so that way you can see it. But we see this all the time. These are the top 5. I mean, even just with that, just look at the top 5 because a lot of these are current situations. And if these things are happening now, what's to say that even more complicated, more diverse situations happened in the last 40, 50 years that we don't know about because it was such a taboo thing to even print something like this so that people can read. It is very possible that an individual that does not believe in ufology, UFOs, extraterrestrials, or anything in that vein, in that situation, it is very possible that this article, if they read it with an open mind, will at least say that there is a possibility that these things are real and that they are really occurring in everyday life. Those are the people that we need to bring into the fold of this situation because you need an army, basically, in order to take on whatever it is that's keeping this topic from being discussed openly. The more the merrier. It's going to take a village to resolve the ufology situation. It's not some rich guy. It's not an ex-band member. And it's not someone that's devoted their entire life to selling books and videos. It's got to be, as they say, the grassroots. But those grassroots have got to spread like a weed. And I'm not talking about like the weed in California. I'm talking about the weed that just grows out of control and takes over everything. That is all I have for you on this episode. I want to thank again the trolls and the people that actually listen because they want to. But if you want to support the podcast, don't forget to visit the Facebook pages, Manny Moonraker, UFO Buster Radio, Instagram at Manny Moonraker, Twitter, UFO Buster Radio, and on Google Plus Manny Moonraker. With that said, I will catch you next week. Hopefully we have a ton more UFO reports. Unfortunately, this go around, I really didn't see any actual sightings or anything like that worth talking about. A lot of the articles right now are rehashing old things that happened weeks ago, which we already talked about. But in the interim, you guys have a good weekend. We'll catch you next week. Ciao.